Picture this: Europe, the 15th century, a time of rapid change and deep-seated fear. The continent is in turmoil, with kingdoms clashing, the plague decimating populations, and the church seeking to maintain its grip on the hearts and minds of the people. This is the dawn of the Inquisition. The Inquisition, a powerful arm of the Catholic Church, was initially created to combat heresy, to root out those who dared to defy the doctrines of the faith. But its mission began to morph, fueled by a climate of fear and a thirst for power. The focus shifted towards witchcraft, a concept shrouded in misconception, superstition, and dread. In the eyes of the Church and the wider society, witches were not merely heretics, but a tangible manifestation of evil, a threat to the very fabric of Christian society. They were believed to have made pacts with the devil, to have gained supernatural powers that they used to bring harm to their neighbors and to disrupt the natural order of the world. This fear was compounded by the publication of the Malleus Maleficarum in the late 15th century, a treatise that laid out the supposed characteristics of witches, their supposed crimes, and the methods to identify and punish them. It was a book that became a blueprint for the witch hunts that would sweep across Europe and beyond. The hysteria was further fueled by societal changes and anxieties. As Europe endured the devastation of the plague, the end of the medieval period, and the beginning of the Renaissance, fear and uncertainty reigned. The witch trials provided a convenient scapegoat, an outlet for the people's fear, and a tool for those in power to assert control and maintain order. It was within this tumultuous backdrop that the witch trials began. It was a time of fear, a time of suspicion, and a time when the line between rationality and superstition was blurred. This was the dawn of the Inquisition, a dark chapter in our history that would leave a lasting legacy on our world. At the heart of this chilling chapter in history stands the figure of the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor was not just a person, but a symbol of fear and authority, a relentless hunter in the pursuit of heresy. Their role was pivotal in the witch trials that swept across Europe and the Americas. One of the most notorious inquisitors was Heinrich Kramer, the author of the infamous Malleus Maleficarum, the Hammer of Witches. Born in the 14th century, Kramer was a man of deep convictions, fueled by a zealous belief in the righteousness of his cause. Kramer was a man of contrasts. He was known to be meticulous and methodical, traits that served him well in his quest to root out heresy. Yet, he was also capable of extraordinary cruelty. His methods were ruthless, designed to break the will of the accused and extract confessions of witchcraft. Kramer's techniques were a chilling display of the lengths to which the Inquisition would go in its pursuit of witches. He employed psychological manipulation, physical torture, and relentless interrogation. He would often isolate the accused, using fear and desperation to wear them down. Kramer oversaw many cases during his tenure as an inquisitor. One of the most notable was the trial of Helena Scheuberin, a woman of high social standing who dared to publicly challenge Kramer's authority. Her resistance made her a prime target, and she was ultimately convicted of witchcraft and burned at the stake. Through his work, Kramer set a precedent for the witch trials that would follow. His methods became the standard, his book a manual for future inquisitors. His actions, driven by fear and fanaticism, led to the persecution of countless innocent people. Their actions would leave an indelible mark on history. The inquisitors, in their quest for purity, sowed seeds of fear and destruction. Their legacy is a grim reminder of the power of belief and the dangers of unchecked authority. Once accused, the alleged witches faced a grim and unjust ordeal. This process was anything but fair, steeped in fear, superstition, and a dangerous thirst for control. The witch trials were a meticulously orchestrated dance of power, designed to maintain a reign of terror over the masses. The accuser would typically be a neighbor or a fellow villager, driven by personal grudges, fear, or simple hysteria. The accusation was enough to start the trial, as the burden of proof fell heavily on the accused. The presumption of innocence, a cornerstone of modern jurisprudence, was notably absent. Instead, the accused were considered guilty until proven innocent. To extract confessions, inquisitors would resort to brutal methods of torture. The infamous strappado, a horrifying device that dislocated shoulders, the witch's cradle, a nightmarish contraption designed to induce extreme vertigo and waterboarding, a method sadly still in use today, were all tools of the trade. The aim was not to seek truth, but to extract a confession by any means necessary. Once a confession was wrung from the accused, the verdict was a foregone conclusion. Those found guilty faced a range of punishments, each more gruesome than the last. The most common was death by burning at the stake, a public spectacle designed to deter others. Lesser punishments included public humiliation, whipping, and banishment. The trials were not merely a means of punishment but also a tool of control. They served to suppress dissent, maintain social order, and reinforce the power of the church and the ruling elite. The accused were often marginalized individuals, women, the poor, the elderly, and the socially deviant easy targets in a society gripped by fear and paranoia. In the name of justice, horrific injustices were committed. The witch trials stand as a chilling reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink when fear, superstition, and power converge. Behind the statistics and the sensationalism, there were real people whose lives were irrevocably changed by the trials. Let's delve into the lives of those who stood accused, their stories often lost in the annals of history. Take, for instance, the tale of a humble baker, accused of witchcraft due to her knowledge of herbs and natural remedies. Imagine her fear and confusion as she was ripped away from her family, forced to endure unimaginable torment. Or consider the story of a scholar whose thirst for knowledge was mistaken for consorting with the devil. His pursuit of enlightenment cost him his life, leaving a grieving family behind. Such were the narratives of countless individuals, their lives disrupted, their families shattered. The witch trials were not just a historical event, they were a human tragedy, affecting individuals and communities alike. Their stories are a stark reminder of the human cost of the witch trials. The witch trials have left a deep and enduring scar on our collective history. This was a time when fear and superstition overpowered reason and justice, leading to the persecution and execution of countless innocent people. The legacy of these trials is far-reaching, impacting our society, culture, and legal systems even today. These trials were a stark reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria and the misuse of power. They prompted a wave of skepticism and critical thinking, which eventually led to the Age of Enlightenment. The witch trials also catalyzed changes in legal procedures, emphasizing the importance of evidence and fair trials, principles that are the bedrock of contemporary judicial systems. On a more personal level, the witch trials have become a symbol of the struggle against oppression and discrimination. As we remember the victims of the witch trials, we are reminded of the importance of tolerance, justice, and critical thinking in our own time. In the aftermath of the witch trials, society learned valuable lessons. The importance of evidence-based reasoning, the necessity of fair trials, and the dangers of unchecked power were all underscored. The trials sparked a wave of skepticism and critical thinking, setting the stage for the Age of Enlightenment. This period saw the rise of scientific reasoning and human rights, a direct response to the horrors of the witch trials. In modern times, the witch trials serve as a stark reminder of the consequences of intolerance and discrimination. They remind us to question, to seek truth, and to uphold justice. They teach us not to let fear and superstition cloud our judgment. As we look back on this dark chapter of history, we must remember the victims and honor their memory by striving to create a society where such atrocities can never happen again. This is the true legacy of the witch trials, a call to action for justice, tolerance, and critical thinking in our own time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video for more intriguing historical insights. Stay tuned for more as we continue to unpack the fascinating and often complex tapestry of our shared history.